Hello manifestors, it is Olivia Grace and I'm back with another video for you guys. This video is going to be pretty long. It's been a long time coming, but there's been a lot of ups and downs, and as I said in the title, this is a pretty sensitive subject for me, but because of the healing and things that I've done, I'm able to be open and talk about it now with you guys. And hi Jamie. Hopefully this can inspire some of you all and encourage you guys to not only get the body that you desire, but to really love the body that you have. So I'm going to start from the beginning of my own story and how I really got into how I started with this body journey that I've been on. I started really honestly hating my body around 12 years old, which is, of course, puberty starts, your body starts changing. And I was just very discouraged and really, hi Kenya. I was really just, I had really low self-esteem anyway. And then my body, I still have really big boobs. I got my first bra when I was in third grade. So all these things really had me really uncomfortable in the skin that I was in. And with my low self-esteem, self-love, and these things were not very popular back in those days. It was, and especially even the body types, whereas now it's oh, you want to, be curvy and slim, thick and all these things. Back then it was about who is the skinniest, who's the smallest, whose bones are showing the most, and it really created a really unhealthy mental environment for me around my body. So that was the first time I started with diets, and unhealthy diets, starving myself, all these things. Jamie, I see you saying you hated yourself because you didn't get boobs. And that is such a huge thing, you guys, because it's so interesting because you'll see a woman that has what you want and then you're just I don't know, you hate what you have and you have what they want and they hate what you have. What it shows you that it's not really about the body that you're in. It really is not really about the body that you're in. It's in your head, right? Which we all know this is how manifestation works. So, yes, I went through a lot with my body at that young age. And started with dieting, started with starving myself, started with even at a point really I remember wishing that I could have a eating disorder. And it was really bad, And so as I grew in my spiritual journey, of course, one of the things I wanted to manifest was weight loss. I finally felt wow, I can get control. And before I started manifesting, there was one moment in my life where I did lose a lot of weight by doing it the regular way with healthy food, eating clean, and exercise. And I did that. But me growing up, my mom is from Jamaica. And so she is very health conscious. She's always been very health conscious. She's always been about, natural foods, organic. We really didn't even have much juice in the house. She was you want juice, you can eat fruit. We had one day a week that we could eat candy. And when I'm talking about, she would get us a bag of Skittles and be you can eat to the K on the back of Skittles. So our environment around food. And then my dad was complete opposite. He loved junk food. He ate lots of junk food. He would buy us junk food. So it was very opposing in my house growing up. But my mom was the one that was mainly watching what we ate and everything. So there was a lot of restriction around food for me, growing up, which I didn't like. Who as a kid wants to be, the kid that can't eat this or can't eat that, or, really going to friends' house, going to parties. That was the only time I would be able to eat junk food or little snack cakes or chips or things like that. So, that was kind of and that kind of plays into why things went how they did. So the first time I did lose weight the regular way. And once I learned about manifestation, I just came to wow, I don't have to restrict myself. I can eat what I want and still lose weight. And I was never really much of an exerciser. I would walk. But it wasn't because, and I do like walking, but it wasn't coming from, ooh, I like to take a walk. It was coming from, I don't like how I look. I need to lose this weight and I'm about to go, I'm making myself do this. So I lost weight twice naturally without changing my diet, without doing anything. And both of the times that I manifested it without diet or exercise was when I wasn't focused on it. Because for me, my weight was such a trigger for me. It was such a huge thing for me that even when I was focusing on it and trying to focus on it in a positive way and trying to change it in a positive way, that like, and this is the thing, this goes for a lot of manifestations too, you guys. When you're heavily focused on something that you have a lot of resistance behind, you end up continuing to manifest the opposite. So you end up so I ended up still manifesting weight problems. There would be times where I would be going hard, going to the gym, be very, very strict on my diets, very strict. I mean, there was times where I wouldn't eat bread for like a year or two, where I would not eat bread. I would not eat carbs, and I still wasn't happy with the body that I had. And so when it came to manifesting it, I was eating whatever. Both of these times. Now, the first time that I actually did it, my appetite naturally changed. I did not do any work on my appetite or change whatever or put myself on a special diet. I naturally lost interest in red meats. And I think at that point I might have been pescatarian altogether, because I would go through vegetarian, pescatarian, eat what I want, and kind of cycle through those three. And at that point I was pescatarian, but I was still eating lots of sugar. That's my thing. I'm not so much of a meat person or a steak person, but I love sugar. I love sugary things. So I was still eating ice cream every day. And I got very slim and very small. And to the point to where one day I just happened to step on a scale, and I was the exact weight that I had been trying to get to for all the years before, when I was doing all the heavy diets and heavy exercise. So that happened, but I did gain the weight back. My weight fluctuated, and I'm going to talk about weight fluctuation too, and how this is manifested based on your brain. Okay. So now the next time that I lost weight again was in 2019. I went through a breakup, and I was really stressed at the time of the breakup. Honestly, after the breakup was kind of final, I was really not that stressed. I was happier. But again, there was so much change going on in my life. I had moved out. I had to find a new place for myself. I just wasn't focused at all on my weight again. And so naturally, again, I just became extremely slim. I got the exact kind of body that I wanted, and very small. And or not very small, because I've never been skinny. I've never been very thin. But I got, I just like I said, I have big boobs. I got little thighs on me. But my stomach was very curved in. My waist was small. My stomach was flat. I had a nice looking body, and I didn't even notice it until people would ask me. They were like, "What do you do? Do you work out, or do you eat? Are you on a special diet? Are you an athlete, or all these things?" And I was like, no, I don't do any of that. And I was like, I manifested it, that's really what I do, is I manifest, and I've manifested this body for myself. And so, but again, I did it not paying attention to it, not efforting at it, not trying and doing anything really. And at that point, you guys, this is how I know that your body is reflecting your mind, okay? Because I was eating crap. I didn't have anything canceled out of my diet. I was literally living off of Chinese food, pizza, candy, donuts, chips, and I'm talking every day, you guys. I was living off of snack foods, and not eating no vegetables at all. It wasn't until my boyfriend and I started dating where he was like, you need to eat healthy. Your body, you need to, not your physical body, but your health, you need to start eating vegetables. And that's how he kind of introduced vegetables into my life. But I had this resentment to vegetables and healthy eating because of how I grew up, so restricted and not able to eat all the junk. And since I was an adult now and I could eat what I wanted, I was doing just that. And I'm talking, you guys, I was eating multiple desserts every single day. I am not exaggerating. I'm talking a cosmic brownie, a honey bun, candy, chips. This was my everyday diet. And I was one of the smallest sizes that I've ever been. So that was another time where I lost lots of weight and did it just with my mind. And one thing I was doing was listening to subliminals, which is very helpful. And I'm going to talk about that later too. So after that, the weight came back because I told you weight fluctuates, and I started to learn about the law of assumption, right? And so when I learned about the law of assumption, I made a video about this much earlier in the year, around like May or April. And I learned about what are the assumptions that I have around my body, around weight loss, even around me and weight loss. And I realized that one thing that I had, an assumption that I had about myself, was that I'm a person with weight problems. Okay, so growing up, I was always the thicker one in my family and my friends. All my friends were skinny. You know, my brother and my sister were both very slim. I was always the one that had like more meat on me. And so I had this idea that I, you know, was big boned, what they call it, or I'm always gonna be big. I'm never gonna be small. You know, I'm never gonna be very slim the way that I want to be. Like, I'm always gonna be big. So I realized that I had that idea. I had that assumption. So if I have that assumption that I'm a person with weight problems, even if I am able to lose the weight is gonna come back because I still identify as a person with weight problems, right? So like, let's say for money example, if you're a person that is like, you're able to manifest money, but then the money goes away and then you're not able to steadily, continuously manifest large sums of money, it's because you identify as a person that doesn't have lots of money. So yeah, you might be able to manifest it, but you're not gonna be able to maintain it because you don't identify as a person that has that thing. So that I realized that for me, and that was like a light bulb for me, that I really still had these kind of identity of being a person with weight problems. So it didn't matter how much I could lose weight. I could put myself on diets. I proved myself that I didn't have to put myself on diets, but as long as I kept that idea about myself, my weight was going to continuously fluctuate, right? So that was my first thing that I decided to change. I'm not going to tell myself that I am naturally, hi and Quisha, I love you. I'm not going to tell myself that I'm naturally big or that I'm naturally like that I have weight problems. And I said, well, what is the opposite of that? What is the opposite assumption of someone? What is a person that eats? Because this was always important to me, you guys. This was one of the first things that I wrote down when I began to manifest, was not just that I wanted to lose weight. I knew I could make myself lose weight. I wanted to lose weight while eating what I wanted to eat. That was so big for me because freedom is big for me. You know, like being restricted was such a big part of my life in a lot of different areas, and I was done with that. So, and also learning about the law of assumption, I had just gone through, because again, like I said in the beginning, weight was, it's something I'm better with now, but before, and especially in my younger life, it was a huge trigger for me. So I found myself kind of falling apart again, you know, right before I learned about the law of assumption. And I decided that I wasn't going to, or no, actually it was after I learned the law of assumption and I made the new assumption that I was naturally slim. Right? I started to assume the concept of a person that is naturally slim, because when you're naturally slim, a person that's naturally slim doesn't eat something and then think about, oh, what is this going to do for me? Or doesn't, you know, they don't feel the need to look through diets or to watch their weight or anything, because they know that they're naturally slim. Even if a person that is naturally slim gains weight or maybe has a baby or, you know, maybe goes out and gets really bloated or something like that, their idea of themselves is that they're naturally slim. So because that's the concept of themselves, the extra weight will kind of fall off of them pretty effortlessly, right? So I started deciding that, right? And I started, again, even using revision, which is rewriting your past. Manifesting is like, you know, creating the future. Revision is kind of manifesting your past and recreating it. And I started to assume to myself, because it's hard to, of course, as a person that has always resonated as being naturally thick or naturally big or naturally this, to then assume that you're naturally slim when you've always seen yourself as another way. So I decided that I was going to revise my past and say that I've always been naturally slim. And what happened next is everything's pretty trippy in the manifestation world, but I would look back at my pictures and I could not find a picture of me big. To this day, I still can't find a picture of me big, and not all of my pictures, but majority of my pictures, I was naturally, I was slim. I was really slim. And so I started to realize, okay, is this body dysmorphia? Because because of the negative idea that I had of myself, I could have just, in all those instances where I was slim, I could have just been seeing myself as much bigger than I was, which is what I manifested, honestly, way back in the day when I was 12 years old and I was hoping that I could have an eating disorder, So it's is it body dysmorphia? Or is it the revision? To this day, I don't really know, but I know that when I look back at my pictures, I'm very slim in majority of my pictures and much slimmer than I am now. And so when I realized that in all of those pictures, I would see pictures of me very small, taking pictures in the mirror, but I knew that in those moments I was taking these pictures as before pictures, right? As, okay, this is the picture of me where I'm fat, and then I'll be able to take a picture when I'm skinny. But the before picture was, I was already skinny, And so it was showing me that, and I really would be looking what was I seeing? Where was, I could have sworn I had a stomach, or I could have sworn that I had rolls, or I could have sworn all these things. And, so I decided in that moment that I was never going to go on a diet again, because I could see that obviously it was not the diet. It wasn't about the diet. It wasn't about the weight. It was clearly about me and my mind, and the hatred and just disgust that I had for myself and my body. So making that promise to myself that what I was going to focus on was healing myself, healing my relationship with my body, rather than focusing on some diet that I think is going to take away this weight, right? So the first thing I did was really sat with the feelings that I would feel. Look at there would be times, you guys, and there's still sometimes times where it's hard for me to look in the mirror because I'm afraid of what I'm going to see. I'm afraid that I'm going to see my stomach looking really big, or see my arms, or see, whatever, and feel negatively about myself. And so I would sit with my feelings. The next thing that I would do is to really start to appreciate my body. I was listening to a meditation, and the meditation was saying how we are so negative to our bodies, but our bodies are literally keeping us alive. Your body does so much for you every moment of your life. My body, our bodies, they're walking us, they're talking us, they're allowing us to be here on this planet. They're allowing us to see, they're allowing us to taste, they're allowing us to smell, to hear, to feel. They're allowing us to hug our loved ones, to kiss our loved ones. They allow us as women to give birth, to grow actual humans. Our bodies, every single thing that you do in this life, you're doing it through your body. Even when you're connecting with your spirit, and even when you're manifesting, you're doing that with your body, part of your body, your brain, right? So it deserves so much more gratitude than what we really give it. All we can really do is look at it and say, well, why can't you be smaller here, bigger here, more toned here, or whatever here, when our body is just being so amazing for us. It's taking all the crap that we put into it every day and turning it into fuel. It's taking all the times that we starve ourselves trying to fit into something or to lose weight, and it's still chugging us on. In the beginning of 2020, I think, I was doing intermittent fasting and I wasn't eating enough, and I passed out, literally lost consciousness. My boyfriend, I don't even know what happened. I just remember black dots coming, and I kind of woke up on the floor. My boyfriend's shaking me and kissing me all over my face, trying to wake me up. And like my friend was there with me and she was like, you know, you looked like you were having a seizure. Like your eyes were open and like rolled back into your head. And I went to the doctor and I let him know, like, you know, what happened, because I didn't even know that it was my blood sugar dropping from me not eating enough food. And he, you know, I let him know I was doing intermittent fasting because I wanted to lose weight. And he was like, well, don't you think that you've achieved the body that you want? Because even at that point, I was still having a nice body. And I just remember looking at him like he was crazy. Like, no, what are you talking about? And he kind of he didn't say anything, but he just looked kind of like, you know, like I can see like your problem is up here. It's not a physical problem. And you know, that actually messed me up for a really long time. I'm kind of just now really getting to the point to where I don't have to eat every like few hours and not get lightheaded, right? So our bodies are doing so much for us, and we're putting our bodies through the ringer, you know, and spewing so much hatred to ourselves when our body just deserves more than that, you know. And we're never as big as we feel, you know. We're never as big as we feel. We just feel this way because of, you know, kind of the culture that we grew up in. You know, like I said, this whole slim thick and all this stuff, this is new. You know, when I was a kid, it wasn't good to be anything. I remember I was watching Moesha the other day, and you guys know Brandy. Brandy is very slim. She's always been very slim, especially when she was on that show. And they had like an episode where they like voted her like biggest butt, and her friends were going to the gym and were like, oh, we got to lose weight. And it's just like, these are the things. So if you see somebody that's like a size 0 thinking that they're fat, you're thinking like, whoa, I must be ginormous, you know? But it's really about self-love, you know? And the next thing that I did is really just started to ask forgiveness for my body. I spent a whole week just doing the Ho'oponopono prayer on my body. The Ho'oponopono prayer is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And I would literally go through every body part, starting at my hair, you know, to the tip of my feet, and go through every body part and do the Ho'oponopono prayer on that body part. And tell it that I'm sorry for all the ways that I've hated you and not accepted you the way that you are. Please forgive me for the way that I've treated you and the way that I've looked at you. Thank you for everything that you do for me. And I love you just the way that you are. And this is the thing, you guys, when it comes to manifesting, is you have to be able to accept what is. You have to be able to bring love to what is, because things can't change. Things don't change that much from a place of needing them to change, you know? Like even if you think about being with a partner, right? Imagine being with a partner and they talk to you the way you talk to your body. You know, you're so fat, you're so disgusting, you need to lose weight. Oh, you don't look as good as you used to. Oh God, like you don't need to eat anything today because you're so big. Like, can you imagine like how you would feel as a person being with someone that's like that? Whereas how would you feel with somebody that just accepted you the way that you are? That just allowed you to come to your own conclusions yourself, and that your decision to lose weight or to get the body that you want or whatever comes from a place of self-love rather than a place of self-hatred, right? So that is where I am now. And for a while I was doing some Chloe Ting, which I highly recommend on YouTube. She's great, and she has like free like weight loss videos. And I can't say they're fun. They're not fun, but they're really good. But what I've noticed, you guys, is with the subliminals, like I stopped doing Chloe Ting. I did it for like 2 months, but I stopped doing it recently because I got sick, and then I kind of injured my shoulder. So I just couldn't really exercise. But what I've done is listen to subliminals, and the subliminals are giving me the effects, I think, coupled with the fact that I'm doing self-love, because in all of those stories that I told you, in all of those things where I had lost the weight naturally, or, you know, dieted and exercised, or just manifested it while eating whatever, in none of those times did I love my body. None of those times did I think that my body was good enough the way that it was. Even when I was like small. Like I've been a size 2 and it was not enough. It was not enough. It was, I had to lose more. I had to get just this little pouch of fat taken, you know, more in. I had to get, you know, like it was just never enough. And so now my body that I'm in now, which is much bigger than the bodies that I was in before, I'm learning to accept it the way that it is. Accepting it the way that it is. I'm learning to go, when I come out of the shower and I see my body, I don't have to shy away. I don't have to not look at it without bursting into tears. Like guys, I would burst into tears and really cry about how I looked. You know, it's so sad, you know, because your body is just doing its best. It's just doing its best. But your body, just like everything else in this reality, is a projection of what's going on in here. So if you're seeing yourself as someone that's fat, as somebody that has weight problems, as someone that never is good enough, even if you're like, oh, well, I'm too thin, or I want this thing to change on me, or I'm whatever, my butt's not big enough, whatever it is, you're going to project that out no matter what you do. And that's why people go through different diets, different exercises, and never lose the weight. The times where I was the strictest on my diet and the strictest on my exercise was some of the times where I was the most unhappy with my body. And I, you know, now I can't say that I wasn't losing weight, because I don't know. I know the way I saw myself, I wasn't losing weight, but when I look back now, I was slim. So I don't know, you know, it's literally like to the point where I can't take my word for it, for what I thought back then, because I was seeing things in such a skewed way. So yes, your body is a projection of what's going on internally. So when you really can switch and start with love, you guys, my mom told me that way back when I was a kid. She used to tell me, you know, Olivia, you need to love yourself, and you need to want to be healthy. And then that is going to lead to everything that you want. And I couldn't hear that. I couldn't internalize that, you know? But I'm internalizing it now. And to be honest, you guys, I do not restrict myself now at all. That's something I can't do, because my relationship with diets is easy for it to become very unhealthy for me because of that pattern that I had. So I don't restrict myself. I go with the flow. I listen to my body. I listen to what my body tells me. There was like a month or so that my body was telling me to eat so many sweets, milkshakes, candy, this, that, and I did it. And I was still losing weight because I was just listening intuitively to my body. But what it did is it kind of burnt me out, to the point now where I still love sugar. I still love sweets. I honestly still have dessert like every day. I still have a little ice cream or a little chocolate or a little something every single day, because I love it and because I want to, and because I don't want to restrict myself, you know. But it's not to the point to where I have to do it in excess. It's not to the point to where I'm doing it to make myself feel better on the inside. You know, it's just because it's something that I enjoy, and because because I'm allowed, right? Because I know that I'm allowed to have this. I don't feel like I have to restrict myself. I don't feel like I have to, you know, I have to binge eat all this right now because I know I got to start that diet tomorrow. Or, you know, I don't know when's the next time I'm going to allow myself to actually have what I want. So I better eat all the sweets in sight right now. You know, I don't feel like that. I know that it's okay. I can have this little scoop of ice cream because tomorrow I can have another scoop of ice cream and I can be just fine with that. I can have this little donut because tomorrow if I want, I can have another donut and I'll be okay, you know. And this is definitely not a health thing. I'm pretty sure health specialists wouldn't tell you to eat dessert every day, but I'm telling you is to listen to your body. What does your body want? And to be honest, you guys, when I started listening to my body, I realized that I was overeating. You know, I was eating way past capacity. I would get full and I would continue to eat, you know, like, no, now when I listen to my body and I get full, last night, all I had was 2 pieces of fish and some rice, and you know, I thought that would be good for me to eat, but I got full and I put it away. You know, for lunch yesterday, I had a Subway sandwich and I wanted to eat just half of it, but I was hungry. I ate the whole thing, you know, and it's okay. It's not about anything. Like, it's about what's going on in here, and it's about what's going on in here, because you can lose all the weight in the world. You can make yourself be 90 pounds, but if you hate yourself, if you hate your body, that's all you'll ever be able to see. So start to love your body And just like that, start to forgive yourself. And it really does take some healing, you guys. Because a lot of us, when it comes to our bodies as women, we're all traumatized. It doesn't matter how good you look. That's the thing. It doesn't matter how good you look. You're still always like micromanaging. Oh my God, I gained an inch. Oh my God, these jeans are tight on me now. Oh my God. Like, we're not allowed to just be, and just let our bodies go through what they go through. And as women, our bodies are changing all the time. Our bodies are changing. We have periods, we have babies, we bloat, whatever, like we have all these things going on. Like, our body deserves some compassion and some understanding. So, yes, you can absolutely change your body. When I did start with the law of assumption and started to assume that I was naturally slim, I did lose weight very quickly once again. That time it manifested through me starting to run, which I have avoided running like the plague my entire life. I literally did not join a sport in high school because I was like, I can't run. I'm not going to run. But I got this urge to start to run, and I started with like a little app that taught me how to run. And I lost weight. It was still, I can't even attribute it to the running because my body changed so quickly. Within 5 days, it looked like I had lost like 10 pounds, which is like impossible, but nothing's impossible. But because there was still so much healing, so much hatred towards my body, it didn't last. And so now I'm doing it from the inside out, and I'm doing it from healing first and then taking action. I'm being okay with myself and really understanding that manifestation is easy. It can be easy for you. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be forced. It can just flow and be easy for me and for you. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm focusing on loving myself. I'm focusing on just listening to subliminals because that's really easy. And I see results. So it's really exciting. And I'm glad that I could share this. I could not share this video with you guys before because I felt like I had to get to a certain size before anything I was saying was relevant. But that's just so backwards and untrue because everybody deserves to be loved and compassionate and celebrated and not being ashamed of it, So I wanted to share this. This was a long one. But I wanted to share with you guys, and I'm encouraging everyone watching this to start from the inside and start to bring love to yourself because your body deserves it. It does so much for you. It does so much for you. Okay? Sending you guys love, and I'll see you guys in the next video.